So there.
So there.
So there.
So there.
Let me know your thoughts.
So there.
So there.
So there.
Let me know your thoughts.
Why do you keep saying let us know your thoughts?
Let me know your thoughts to me is a nice lead-in for So there. So there.
Welcome to episode 46 of So There. I am Gary Doyle.
And I'm Tom Karamitis.
Hi, Tom.
Feeling a little, I got boosted yesterday.
Whoa.
Yeah, I feel a little bit a little achy, a little off.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I got
Just like achy, like flu-y?
A little bit, I got my original one was Moderna, and then I got Pfizered yesterday with the booster, and I just it was a little off, a little achy, a little spacey, a little low energy. I'm sure it'll pass, but
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to bring your A game to the podcast?
Yeah, as you know.
I think our listeners they're more concerned about that than for your health. They want quality entertainment, Tom, and that comes first, and then your health is secondary.
I'm a professional. I'll try and rise above it.
The bread is square, and the meat is round.
Well, it's been it's probably been close to 2 months since the last episode. I'm sure you have volumes of material to share today.
Not really, Tom. The well, the well is pretty much run dry for me. But I did have some observations that I would like to make under the guise of a segment that we call I Decree. So I decree is what we would do, what I would do if I was king. If I was king, here are the decrees that I would make. And I wanted to, in that spirit, do a I Decree Thanksgiving edition. I Decree. Thanksgiving is coming up in 5 days, maybe 4 days when you receive this. I decree that no Christmas lights shall be put up before Thanksgiving. I don't like when people do this, and in fact, this year I even noticed some Christmas lights were put up after Halloween. How do you feel about this, Tom?
Well, it's interesting. This topic's come up in our house recently. I agree with you, because you realize if you do it right after Halloween, you essentially have lights up from November 1st to say January 4th. So you're approaching like 18% of the year, over 2 months, which is nuts to me. Now, the only thing I will say in defense of the early light people is the weather is more favorable.
Any relation to the little bike people?
And
or the sex people?
Yes. I think, look, we had a couple of really nice weekends in the last month, and I can understand getting out there on a 60-degree sunny day and doing it, as opposed to, my rule was always, like you said, after Thanksgiving, and you're out there it's 38 degrees and blustery. But
right.
You know what? I never really minded that, because I think you're out there, you're working in the cold, it feels like Christmas. You're cursing because half the lights don't go on. That's part of the whole package.
I like your ratio. I decree that the ratio shall not exceed 15% of the year of which your lights are up. It's not allowed to exceed, 2 months out of 12 is excessive.
Yeah, it makes it a little less special. The other thing, because if somebody's got lights on for 2.5 months, it's no longer, something you point out. Oh wow, what nice Christmas lights! It becomes kind of their house. I see people put up Halloween lights, and those seem to be going up around beginning of October. So I mean, you could have some people that have rotating light displays for the last 3.5 months of the year.
Right. And then now we're going down a rabbit hole. But then we also, in our neighborhood, because as you know, Tom, we live in a Rarefied air.
Yes.
North Shore. People hire professional light decorators.
I decree.
I would also like to decree that everyone shall put up their own lights and not hire professional light decorators to decorate their home.
Yeah. Absolutely. It really just kind of it's like showing up at the Halloween party and one of the people got some professional costume and everybody else kind of just did the homemade stuff. It just kind of spoils the spirit, I think. I will say that I think the workmanship of a lot of these lights and outdoor things is not very good. I spent decent amount of money on them over the year, and it seems like a lot of them you get basically one season out of them, or maybe you get a second season. And then they have these embedded lights that are part of the actual decoration, and you really can't change those lights out. So you kind of watch your Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer thing slowly die because fewer and fewer lights activate each year. So then you have that dilemma whether you throw it out or not.
Yeah, the pod's engineer John Binder. Actually, his neighbor has an insane light show that he puts up every year that draws tourists from around the neighborhood. It's over the top and ridiculous, and you can actually find it on YouTube. I'm not sure if the search terms are like Christmas in Wilmette or something, but yeah, he has a neighbor which just goes bonkers. So it's a problem. It's a problem.
There's like a slow parade of cars that.
Yeah, every Christmas.
Yeah, it's lovely.
All right, a couple other I decrees for Thanksgiving, and then we'll move on.
I decree.
I decree that people should stop talking about Thanksgiving dinner like it's so hard, like it's this. Oh my God! There's a Butterball turkey hotline. There's a whole subculture of, my God, this is so hard. How are you going to get through it? It's really not that hard. Turkey is, you throw it in a 350 oven for, 3 hours. If you want to get fancy, you can grill it like Gary Doyle does, but it's really not that hard, people. It really isn't. I know it's for a lot of people, but it's not that hard. So,
well, let me ask you a question. Do the Doyles share the responsibility of preparing the meal, or does it all fall upon one person?
No, we share.
Okay. Well, that makes a difference. I think a lot of families, it's mom's role or something, and it becomes, defrost the turkey or get it in the oven at like 7 a.m. or whatever. And
yeah, I guess it's the turkey thing, really. That, they act like I've got to operate on my own sister, and I need to figure out how to do that. My God, I need to remove her appendix. It's kind of like that, but it's a turkey.
Do you like turkey?
I love it. I like turkey. Yeah.
I'm very indifferent to turkey.
A lot of people are.
I mean, it's fine to me. It's just kind of like it's. I don't know. I the only time ever I would ever have turkey would be on Thanksgiving Day. I would never order it in a restaurant or anything. I never think about it really. I have suggested many times, hey, let's do steak. Let's do a lasagna, and I kind of get the cold stare. That's so. I prefer all the other stuff over the turkey. The sides are much more interesting to me than the actual turkey.
Last year, because of COVID, we stayed home for Thanksgiving, and so Lisa, my bride, insisted on having crab legs because, like you, she is indifferent to turkey, and she loves crab legs, and she was like, this is my one opportunity. And she loved it. We got king crab legs and had that for Thanksgiving. She was over the moon about it.
Maybe Lisa would like to spend this Thanksgiving with Tom Karamitis.
So there. Two more I decrees, and then we'll move on.
My God.
I decree.
The Detroit Lions shall forever play football on Thanksgiving. A lot of people complain about the Detroit Lions because they're always bad, but I find it comforting that every year the Detroit Lions are out there playing football in Ford Field, and we can all bond over how bad they are and inept and talking about how inept they are. So I decree that the Detroit Lions shall forever play football on Thanksgiving. And finally, oh wait, did you have something to say?
No, just that I disagree because it becomes this throwaway game. It becomes a game that you really don't care about because they're so bad. The Cowboys also play every Thanksgiving, don't they?
Yeah, they tend to be the late game. They put Detroit on at 11 o'clock, and then the Cowboys kind of like the marquee game after everyone's done eating around 4 or 5.
I decree.
And finally, I decree that Thanksgiving is the best holiday. Even though I've made fun of it a little bit here, it's the best holiday of all to Gary Doyle. There's no obligations, there's no gifts, there's nothing capitalistic about it, there's nothing, none of that nonsense. Advertisers don't advertise that much about it. It's just free of all that. And yet all you do is sit around with family and friends and watch football and eat and drink all day. And it's just it's the best of all holidays to Gary Doyle.
That's a nice sentiment. I would agree with that. I hadn't thought of it in those terms. There's really not the endless pressures that go along with some other holidays, Christmas has just become I don't want to kind of go there, but just a gigantic chore obligation to get ready for Christmas. So, there's no tree to lug up for Thanksgiving. There's no gifts and all of that stuff and the expectations. And now this year with the supply chain issues, getting stuff on time is going to be, an issue for a lot of people. So that's a nice sentiment.
I 100% agree with you about Christmas. We'll tackle that in a future pod. Perhaps Lexus could create a Thanksgiving to Remember TV commercial since nobody's really capitalizing on Thanksgiving.
I thought of that this morning. I don't know about you. I haven't seen those spots yet. Maybe they don't start running them until after Thanksgiving. But
a Thanksgiving to thrill over. Get a Lexus RX 470. So there.
Well, that was a whirlwind of information. I feel like we've eaten up all of our time today, but I'll squeeze in a couple of observations.
Tom, if you were a king, you would have plenty of decrees as well. Admit it.
Yes, I would. I have a couple of observations from my daily walk around the neighborhood. One of them is, remember we talked about those signs people put out, family, kindness. The signs people have by the front door, those giant things.
You mean hate has no home here?
Yes, exactly. Those things. I saw one the other day that made me stop in my tracks because the sign said harvest. And I really thought, what is the statement they're making? Harvest. I mean, it's basically it's a thing. It's not a feeling. It's kind of a chore. You could say broom. I mean, I was... Usually those sentiments are kind of one that triggers an emotion of some kind. But harvest was like, I don't know, prune the trees, I mean, I didn't get it. All of a sudden the line became blurred. I never liked these signs, but I kind of understood where they were coming from as far as a sentiment. And now I was thrown by harvest.
Well, are you sure it's not a coded message like "Let's go, Brandon" or "Saturday is for the boys"? Are you sure? Or "Don't step on Sneck"? Are you sure that it's not some kind of coded message for something that we don't understand?
Well, Saturdays for the boys. There was one of those in our neighborhood, and I had to look it up because it scared me a little bit. It sounded a little bit threatening. Yeah, right.
The
other thing I've noticed in a couple of houses in our neighborhood is, have you noticed this around your house? Do your houses have the mailbox down by the curb on your parkway, or is your mailbox actually at your house when you get your mail delivered? Do they?
No, Tom, we don't have mailboxes on the curb. That would destroy the streetscape of our rarefied North Shore suburb now.
All right. Well, imagine, if you will, an upper middle class or a middle class neighborhood like mine, where the mailboxes are down by the the street, on the parkway. I've noticed more and more people creating little ecosystems around their mailboxes. You know, they'll dig out the grass, they'll put down mulch, they'll have these crawling vines go up the post. But then the other day I saw somebody actually had a little light, one of those little solar-powered lights sticking in the ground, aimed up at the mailbox, like they wanted to show the world their mailbox. Now, yeah, I see you shaking your head. You.
Well, yeah. I mean, lights, exterior lighting is a thing where I live, and I've never understood it. It's like I'm gonna light up my house at night so people can see my house. Look how nice my house is. Because in my neighborhood, it's not security. It's not for security purposes. I'm gonna light up my house.
Oh yeah,
and I have never understood that. Besides the fact it would kind of shine in your bedroom window and keep me up at night. But yeah, oh yeah, that's a thing where I live. Absolutely.
Yeah, in our neighborhood, there's a lot of "Behold my driveway."
How does that play out, Tom?
Well, spaced every 4 feet, running up both sides of the driveway.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we have not had the light up mailboxes come to our town yet, or the light up little free libraries. But we do have light up houses. We do have. Here's my house. It's dark. But you can see my house really well because I'm lighting it up with lights embedded in the ground, shooting upward against my flagstone exterior.
My theory on the mailbox lighting was that the guy bought a dozen little lights and had one extra and wanted to utilize it somehow. So he decided to feature the mailbox, the proud wooden post, the elegant plastic box with the red flag that you can raise. It's all so grand.
We also have Behold My Tree lights in my neighborhood. Not just light up Behold My House or Behold My Driveway, but Behold My Tree. So there'll be a tree in the front yard, and they'll have lights lighting up the tree.
All year round or just for Christmas?
Oh, yeah, no. I mean underground embedded lights, like the ones that light up your house. No, that'll be, Behold My Tree.
Do the Doyles have those?
BMT is short.
Behold My Tree.
Lake Bluff.
Do the Doyles have those hanging lights that people are putting on their decks and trellises in the back, to have a kind of a summer evening out back, those old fashioned?
No, but I like those. I'm in favor of those. I approve. No, I like those a lot. In fact, that may be a project for the Doyles next spring because I would like to do that. We have a little backyard porch area, nothing big, but I think it would be delightful to have those little lights. But those are tasteful and lovely. I like that. And they serve a purpose. You can hang out at night and with friends and, hang out, and they serve a purpose, unlike, Behold My Tree.
Much like, and we've discussed this before, much like the convertible, the car that's a convertible, the fantasy of hanging outside at night tends to exceed the reality. All right. And what I mean by that is, you're forgetting about the mosquito issue. All right. It's convertibles. It sounds like a great idea. Hey, when we're in LA, let's rent a convertible. But you know what? It's miserable. The sun's beating down on you. It is so loud. You can't hear the radio. You're just wind whipped. So I would venture to guess those, you're going to have a fairly limited number of days you would actually sit out on your deck and cavort with friends.
I think it's really because you fear your friends and you fear your neighbors. You said this to me. You fear your neighbors. Friendship causes pain. I don't believe in friendship. Friendship causes pain. What's the line after that?
I am a rock, I am an island.
No, there's one before that. It's laughter and love that I disdain.
Then I am a rock, I'm an island.
So there.
I have an installment of something we haven't done in a while, which, and I think the reason you never do it is because you don't like the fact that it was my idea and my stinger, but it's called...
You're welcome.
And And this is where we give advice to an existing campaign or an existing advertiser to kind of tweak something or change something. I've grown increasingly frustrated with the Arby's campaign, with that Arby's guy. We have the meats, that guy. And I just feel like his delivery is getting more and more over the top. He's got almost like he's crazed in a lot of commercials now, And he used to just kind of be this kind of vaguely scary, dry, authoritarian kind of thing. But now he's just he's got a little bit of the lunatic thing going. And I don't know if you've noticed that or not.
No, I'm an admirer of that campaign. I like that campaign. It's single-minded and good. It doesn't try to do much. It says we have the meats. So no, I have heard that he is. I think that VO is Ving Rhames, I believe, who's an actor. Ving Rhames. He played the Gimp in Pulp Fiction. I believe that's the actor, and I've also heard. I don't know why I'm saying this, but anecdotally, I've heard that he's a hand. This is going to come as a shock for you. He's a handful in the recording sessions.
Well, apparently he's becoming more of a handful.
More unhinged.
What's his first name?
Ving. Vingrhames, I believe.
Hey, Ving, last one was great. We're loving it, but can we pull it back just a little bit more on the next? Let's do 3 in a row. And then he does 3 in a row. Exactly.
That are all over the top.
Well, he's also perhaps he's operating from the perspective of somebody who now knows it's his campaign. He can do whatever he wants. And what did that voiceover say to you once?
I was just reminded of that. My first recording session, I wouldn't do it that way if I was you, son.
Who was that?
It was a guy who was at the time, and I don't know his name. He wasn't an actor, but he was a very prominent VO guy. Very prominent. He was on all kinds of commercials. He was the guy at the time. And it was my first recording session for Kellogg's Corn Flakes. And so I made a suggestion for a line read for the tagline, which was taste them again for the first time. And he kept emphasizing time. Instead of first, he would go, taste them again for the first time. Which, of course, makes no sense because the first is the important part, right? Again and first are the important parts of that line. And I kept asking him, hey, could you try to emphasize the words first a little bit more? And he finally said, I wouldn't do it that way if I was you, son.
So he actually refused to read it that way. Yeah, because he knew you would use it, and he didn't approve.
If a VO did that to me now at this stage in my career, I would do a Tom Care-minus and say, you know what, you're done. You can leave now. You'll still get paid. No problem. You'll get paid. Your agent will be in touch and with the contract, but you can leave now. Go.
I'd like to think that. I know a couple times in my career when I've been and had a difficult voiceover, and one that comes to mind for me was, do you remember the voice of 7-Up for a while was Daniel Stern?
Oh yeah.
He was kind of gave me the same treatment. Wouldn't do it. He was, I think he was frankly a bit of a dick in that session. And I kind of got a little flustered. I didn't push him. I kind of all of a sudden I saw to myself, what happens if I piss him off and he refuses to do any more? Then it's going to be my fault. And so I swallowed hard and said, all right, well, that's good. Thank you, Mr. Stern. The stern Mr. Stern.
Remember our friend Ned Crowley when he recorded George C. Scott? Also for a campaign for cornflakes. George C. Scott, one of the legendary actors of all time, came in to do a VO read for Kellogg's cornflakes, and he wouldn't do more than 2 takes. He did his second take. He's like, I'm done. And Ned tried to get more takes out of him, and he's like, goodbye, and he left. And as he left, he muttered into the microphone, which was caught live, my career is over. Which it kind of was, doing a Kellogg's Cornflakes VO.
Boy, Cornflakes reached high, though. The thespian legends of Hollywood.
Back when Cornflakes used to advertise, they don't even advertise anymore, right?
I don't think so. I can't think of anything they're doing.
Sorry for the profanity, there, listeners. I think that will get us slapped with a warning from iTunes. But this
will be interesting. For a second, I was thinking I was going to have you say the line again, but this will be a good experiment. See if we
Okay.
get flagged. All right.
I apologize for the swearing to my loved ones, but that is what he said. Ned forwarded us the message of him saying that. It was priceless. So there. All right, Tom. I wanted to wrap up this week's podcast by talking about my father-in-law, Ralph Winters, who passed away a week ago. Ralph was a good man. He enlisted on his own in the Army in World War II and served in Japan in the Allied occupation. He ran a vehicle depot that serviced tanks and jeeps, and including the pink Jeep that the commander's wife drove. That's what you got in World War II if you're the commander, a pink Jeep for your wife.
Oh.
Yeah. Ralph graduated from Duke University with a degree in engineering and became a successful executive for Amoco, now BP. He took up painting in his retirement, oddly enough, and every year would paint a beautiful watercolor of a church and make Christmas cards out of them that he would send out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, to his loved ones. Beautiful paintings. Probably made about 15 of those. Ralph overcame a lot, including polio, a father who struggled with alcoholism, and me, who, when I met him, had a buzz cut, an earring, and would put my bare feet up on his coffee table in his living room like the idiot 25-year-old I was. And Ralph welcomed me into the family, did not bat an eye, could not have been more gracious and accommodating.
Did Ralph mention your bad behavior to Lisa? Was that the first meeting, the first time you met him?
Yeah, first few times I did that. Yeah, until Lisa actually said to me, you shouldn't put your bare feet on the coffee table. No, he never said anything to her. Ralph was all class. But he was a good man. He was all class. And he will be missed. So I just wanted to put in a word for him.
He sounds like he was a great guy, very impressive man, and I'm sorry I never got to meet him. But the fact that he tolerated you speaks volumes of his patience and his wisdom.
As I said, it's an overcoming of something greater than polio. So that'll wrap it up for episode number 46 of So There. On behalf of Tom Karamitis, this is Gary Doyle saying,
So there!